So welcome to the Little Bits tutorial. During this Little Bits tutorial you're going to learn the different pieces that are in the Little Bits case and what they all do. And then in order to qualify to get your blue bead, you are going to have to build something for me. I'll give you something random, like, build something that turns on when you snap your fingers. And I'll ask you to build that for me. In addition, I'll ask you which each of the different colors do. So pay attention. So in this first part, I'm going to just show you an overall what's happening with the different pieces. And then in the next part, I will show you about each piece individually. So all of these pieces, so I can set them aside, these are kind of like pieces that came with our set that you could snap together. And we have gears and wheels, and so you could build something that moves or works other than just building something that buzzes, which seems to be everybody's favorite thing right now. Okay, so let's start off with the basics. There are 4 different colors of Little Bits, and that is by design. Blue colors right here will always be, let's see if I can get this going, will always be power. Pink pieces are always your trigger pieces. Orange pieces always tell your signal where to go, and green pieces are what happens once it gets there. Okay, so first things first, power. So the blue bits are the bits that bring you the power. They hook into a battery by snapping together just like that. Now it's on, and it has a little lever here, turns it off. So we're going to leave it on for now so you can see what goes on. There are only 2 blue pieces that are made. We own 2 of this type right here that hook to a battery. The other one's hooked to a USB. So once you have power, you have to decide what to do with it. The first thing you need to do is decide what's going to trigger my event to happen. Remember, I told you that pink things are always a trigger. For instance, this button. See how it snaps together? You could never put this piece on backwards because the magnets won't let you. So you'll always have your circuits going the right way because they just snap together. Pink items trigger it. This is a button. If you push the button, it triggers it to go off. This is a pulse. It sends pulses of it to the piece. Anything pink is a trigger. It starts the reaction. Anything orange, think of it as just a wire. Here's a wire. I hook it together like this so that it's easy to store, because that way they don't get all tangled up. This wire can hook onto here, and then I can have it go someplace else if I needed a little extra room. Or if I needed to branch off, we have a wire that goes from 1 to 2 inputs. So we have the power, then the trigger, what starts it, and then the oranges, where am I sending it, or how am I sending it? So that's what all the oranges are about. And then the green in the end, let's see which piece we have here. Let's use this one just because it's easy. The green in the end is the output. This is what happens. What am I going to have it do? So let's hook this one on it. See, it won't go that way, so it must be wrong. Let's hook it here. So then if I push this button, it lights up. See? So now I've made this light up with the button. So I'm about to go over what each different piece that we have does and how it affects its particular job. But remember, this job of the blue one is just for power. The job of this pink one is just to start a reaction. The job of the orange ones are just to move the reactions on. And then the job of the green ones is that's your output. That's a light or a sound. For instance, this is everybody's favorite output right here, right now. It's a buzzer. If you buzz it too much, you get a special visit from Mrs. Spinner over to your table. Okay, you guys, have fun with this and pay attention to what each one of the pieces do. It'll really help you out, and I look forward to meeting with you to help you earn your blue bead. So enjoy, and I'll talk to you again at the end of this video. Okay, so this one is a pulse trigger, or a timeout trigger. This one is, you can set a timer for it, so you can arrange the time so that it's longer or shorter time. But what you do is you set the time, and then like if you had a button and then this timeout and then a light, you could push the button and this timeout would make it wait however much time you set it for, and then the button would then the light would light up. You can also set it so that the light is on, and then when you touch the button, certain amount of time goes by and the light goes off. So this is a timeout, and then you can see the off-on switch, and then the on-off switch, and then the off-on switch. You have to pick one of those two. So this is a sound trigger. The way the sound trigger works is that you can set it so that like clapping your hands will have something light up, and you can have it be as sensitive as to snap your finger. Okay, so this is a slide dimmer, and the way it works is that when you slide it from the left to the right, it increases the amount of electricity that flows through the item. So if you slide it from right to left, it slows down the amount of electricity that flows through the item. So the dimmer switch can be used to light up a series of lights based on how much electricity goes through, or to make the buzzer buzz one way or another. So there's a lot of different things you can use this for. If you have it hooked to a servo, it could be, okay, this is just what it looks like. It's a button. You push it, something happens. It's a button. And the next thing we're going to look at is a light sensor. So the light sensor, when something gets dark, if you have it set, the trigger set for light, then when it gets, the lighter it gets, the more electricity goes through it. If you have something set for darkness, then the darker it gets, the more electricity flows through it. And once again, you adjust it with the little screwdriver that comes with the set. And you can see the little cross tip right here where you can go ahead and adjust that sensitivity. So here it is, lighting up these things. As it gets darker, or this one's probably set for light, but as it gets lighter, more electricity flows through it. And this is where your electricity is at again. Because you have to have, of course, blue, then pink, then either orange or green, but one of the two. So this, because you're at your trigger right now. So this is a pulse. So a lot like everything else, this is just allowing electricity to go through based on the settings in it. So the electricity flows through this one in a pulse, and you can set the speed higher or lower using that little cross tip again in the middle. And this allows things to go, like if you turn it down, it'll go send a signal for it to light up, light up, light up. But if you turn it up, it can go light up, light up, light up, light up, light up, light up. See? So you can make something blink using the pulse. Okay, so now we're going to start talking about the orange pieces. And the orange pieces are pieces that just pass the electricity through them and direct it in one way or another. So this one is a wireless transmitter. And we can use any phone or our iPod mini to use this wireless transmitter to transmit to the wireless receiver, which will be on whatever it is you have. So you could actually make a motor run, or make a wheel turn, or make a light flash remotely using those items. All orange things, they don't create any electricity or create any signal or do anything other than pass stuff from one place to another. These are wirelessly passing the signal from one thing to another, from your trigger to your output, to what's going to happen on the other. So this is the fork, which turns one signal into three signals. So if you were using the button, you would push the button once and it would send it to three different outputs. So maybe a light and a sound and a servo. So that's what this one is for. It's a fork. Okay, so this is the latch. It's pretty easy to understand. It turns any signal from a pink thing into kind of like a toggle. So like if you were to press a button on the pink, the pink button on the one side and push it, whatever was going on the other side, it would turn on, but it would stay on. until you push the button again and then shut it off. So that's what a latch is. It's kind of like a toggle switch. One action on the pink thing turns it on, and the next action on the pink thing turns it off. This is an inverter. It's exactly what it says it is. Whatever was on, a signal coming in, if it was to turn it on, the signal would actually become an off, and vice versa. So now we're into the greens. Now the green pieces are the output pieces. They're the pieces that are kind of the fun pieces. They do something. This particular one is a 4-foot cable of LED lights. It lights up green. Okay, so here we are with our green pieces. These are all the things that do the fun stuff. These are the output pieces. Green is output. And this one is a 4-foot long LED cable that when it gets some electricity from one piece to another, it turns. See, green. Nice. Lights up beautifully. So that's what this piece does. This is a buzzer. This thing obviously buzzes. If you buzz it too long, you get a special visit from Mrs. Spinner to your table. And so that's all it does, is it buzzes. We have about 2 or 3 of these. And the next piece is the bar graph. Bar graph is really fun. So what it does is it lights up in order from 1 to 5 based on how much electricity is flowing through it. So if you here they've hooked it just to the blue, so it stays, all of them stay on all of the time. But if you put something in the middle of it right here, like, you know, a sound trigger or something, or a slider dimmer switch, then you can make it light up gradually or not gradually. This is what's called a servo. This one just goes back and forth. It doesn't go all the way around. It just oscillates back and forth and back and forth. There are many pieces that come with it, so you can mount different things on them. And you can see it just simply goes back and forth when it gets electricity. So the next piece that we have, in just a second, as soon as it pulls it up, is, wait for it, wait for it. Yay! This is just another motor piece. Now, unlike the servo, which just oscillates back and forth, this little motor piece actually spins around and around. So if you wanted to turn a wheel or anything else, this is the piece you'd have to use. This little end on it, ours actually has a wire connection in between it, so you're able to disconnect it, you're able to move it further from this whole housing. So if you wanted to mount something into a wheel, you wouldn't have to mount all of that stuff. You could just, you know, mount this piece with the wire coming off of it. It has all these little gadgets that fit onto it that allow you to fit other pieces into it. And here's where you can you know, see that it goes from the right to the left, or you can make it reverse by switching those. So we have 2 of these motors, which are really nice. This is a fan. It does exactly what I just told you it did. It's a fan. When you plug it in, the fan spins. See? That's it. Oh, it's made a cooling hat. So that's the fan that spins. And I think that might be the end of our green pieces that we have. Okay, so that concludes our tutorial. And Little Bits has their own website, littlebits.com. If you ever want to go on and take a look at possible projects to do, that's a good place to go and explore. They have many of them. We do have a 3-ring binder over where the Little Bits are stored. And in that binder, I have added some projects that I've thought were pretty cool. And I've allowed you guys to add your own projects to it as well. So take a look in there if you're having a hard time getting your inventive juices flowing. Now remember, when you come to meet me to earn your blue bead, you're going to have to know what the different parts do. Not the exact part, but like, what are the pink parts for? What are the orange parts for? And I'm going to ask you to build me something. And I'm going to tell you what I need it to do. And that's how you're going to earn your blue bead. So do be prepared to do that, okay? And I will see you at the library. Happy Makerspace. Bye.